We have made such good progress in scrapping our PCs that the wall of PCs that used to be here is gone. Remember this wall of computers here, right here? And what we are left with is a stack of dirty nasties and a stack of potentially vintage oldies, vintage slant oldies, possible ceramics, that kind of stuff. Well, these things aren't going to get done by themselves, and they're just going to keep getting nastier, so we might as well get them done. All right, so what's the definition of a scrapping scumbag? Whoever it was that put this or sold this to one of my yards that I then procured it from, because they knew what they were doing. They took out everything but the power supply. They left the power supply in there so there would be a little bit of weight, but it's, you know, the lowest value thing that puts a little weight in there. I suppose I should at least be somewhat grateful that they didn't just put rocks in there, because there at least is some value in the power supply. But, you know, I lost money doing this. It's a perfect example of a scumbag scrapper who is a thief and cares only about themselves. Oh man, yeah. All right, well, let's see here what we got going. Boy, this thing is just in bad shape. All right. So that would have been the hard drive. It gives you an idea how old this is. Let's get that out of its caddy. We're going to have a lot of rust building up with this scrap, aren't we? Get that wire off there. Just going to go in the shred pile. Look at that. That is a nice old, that's a Quantum Pro drive. Just amazing, you know, what hard drives have become compared to what they used to be. And yes, this is what Board Sort would call an IDE pin, or a high-grade hard drive board. Come on. Come on. Let's go this. There we are. So that's actually a really nice board for boardsort.com, and for me, of course, because it's got some really good weight. So I'll get some good value out of that. And then we have this interesting copper sheet. So I'm actually going to put that in with my number 2 copper. Now, I'm not going to bother digging into the rest of this. Yeah, these older hard drives can be kind of interesting, but I don't know. Maybe I'll put it aside and dig into it someday for a standalone video, but for the purposes of this scrap, I'm not going to waste time on that. These were CD drives, optical drives. And they're just going to stay the way they are. You know, I'm not, I don't know, it's a nice board though. Let's see, do you have, yeah, you're similar to that too. Well, let's take a quick, let's see if that'll come out quick enough. Since most of the casing is rusted away. Gotta admit, I'm surprised. Yeah, that one didn't want to cooperate. I was about to say, I'm surprised at how easy these screws are coming off. Fortunately, I'm able to get a grip on this one. It still doesn't want to turn with the screwdriver. Oh man, look at the rust on that. All right, now let's see here, and the rust I'll put in with the small metal stuff because, you know, it's ferrous, right? It's just very oxided. Is that a term? Oxided, rusted. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure, even if I get this board off of here, what category I'm gonna put it in with. Feels like there's another screw holding it somewhere. I think it's the flip side of this one right here. And the motor. Oh, that's interesting, the way they had the motor set up on this. So here's the copper coils. Here's the what part would have spun. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, that's really interesting. Now, what category to put that in? I mean, it's pretty well populated. But it came off of a CD, so yeah, I'm going to put it in with the CD-ROM boards. And I'm not going to mess with that motor. Those screws are way too rusted up for me to deal with that. Get a little bit of this wire off of here. All right, so that can go in the shred pile. Yeah, we might be able to get this one off similarly. This one actually might be a little bit easier because these screws are not as rusted up. Yeah, isn't that interesting that the way this was configured as a motor? Very cool. Very cool. All right. I'm going to clean this up a little bit real quick. Now then, this has to come off. That part's already broken. So that one screw is not playing nicely, but we might be able to work around it. There we go. All right. Now then, got some nice, you know, it's an older PC, so as you would expect, I don't know if you can see these yet, but there are some nice chips on here. Let's get all this stuff out of here. We got a loose IC floating around in there. Just popped out of a socket somewhere. And let's see how this motherboard wants to come out. It looks like it's just snapped in. So I don't want to keep you all in too much suspense here, but look at that. That's a nice Motorola. There's some nice Motorola chips there. I wonder if those will come out or if they're hard mounted. Let's see. Oh yeah, of course. Ended up leaving a few pins inside of there, but yeah, that's a nice Motorola chip. It's had better days. Same here, some of the pins got left behind. So some nice ceramic chips here. It's a shame some of the pins got left behind, but that's fine. That's not going to degrade the value, at least too much. I wouldn't think it would be that big of an issue. Look at these little tiny RAM. Let's see now, how do you guys want to come out? That's it. Usually, a lot of times this older RAM, you just push it back and it unclicks. So this is silver RAM, tin silver RAM. That's a separate category of RAM. And as I'm taking the RAM off, I've got ICs falling off of the RAM sticks. We'll put those in with the IC chips. Don't see a lot of tin silver RAM anymore. All right, power supply. And you're the switch, the power switch there. Let's get some of this rust out of here. Because it's hiding things from me. Well, it also loosened up our power supply, didn't it? All right, well, that's cool. Aztec, Apple. Oh, this is an old Apple. I probably should have recognized that if I'd have been paying attention. I'm sure there's a logo here somewhere that's just covered up with nasty. All right, so that's going to go in with my power supplies. All right, now we'll clean up some more rust. All right, that used to be a screw. There's that one and that one need to come out. That could be problematic. We'll see. We'll see. I can't tell if you're turning or not. Got to get this out of the way. Probably have to get that out of the way anyway, because that might actually be... Yeah, that was a battery. So that had to come out of the way anyway. And I think these are socket mounted ICs. So we can remove those. We're not going to have much value left in this board once we get everything off of it. In fact, the most valuable thing left on this board are the oscillators. We still have a couple more socket mounted ICs we can pull. And there's still a few more ICs scattered about, and some tantalum capacitors. But I bet you the gold pins that are still stuck inside of these sockets are what's going to be the most valuable on this board. All right, so the board is elevated. It's on some plastic spikes. So I'm going to try. No, you're not screwed. All right. A hole saw works for this too. Maybe even better. Yeah, we popped off a few ICs. Boy, at the rate we're going, we will have depopulated everything of value from this board. It's like it's depopulating itself. All right, here's another IC. Wow. Yeah, it's just got more ICs coming off. These ICs are just, they're so corroded that they're just falling off. All right, let's get the shell out of the way. There's nothing left. Might as well pull those sockets out. I have a dental tool here to help pull these out. You can get these dental tool kits on eBay. They're relatively inexpensive and they can come in handy for things like this. I'm sorry, Amazon. Well, you might be able to get them on eBay too. So I'm thinking that because we've already depopulated so much here, we might as well just finish up getting all the ICs off of here and then throw this in with my mid-grades. There's a bunch of MLCCs along the back of it. And there's a couple of, you're a diode. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, because there's still gold-plated pins, the oscillators, and we know there's a bunch of gold-plated pins inside of here, I'm going to put this in with my mid-grade boards. I'm comfortable doing that. I don't think I'm ripping anybody off by doing that. While I get the operating table cleaned up for the next computer, why don't you check out these links to more Shark Scrapper content, and the round one in the middle, that's to help you to subscribe so you don't miss a single nasty computer scrap out.